Hello there, my name's Vince from My Mate Vince, and welcome to day 5 of the Amazon Advent Repair Challenge, where I've bought a massive pallet of 40 Amazon items. Can I fix any of them? Let's get straight into day 5.
Bug zapper.
Another mosquito killer, yay! Anyway, this one you can see that the lamp there is out, so I'm just going to quickly take it apart, put the lamp in, and then we'll plug it in and see what it's doing. It might be simply that that has come out in transit and the customer's sent it back. Okay, I'll put it back into place now. Plug it in, turn it on. Ta-da! Working. To be fair, if somebody got this like that, they probably would send it back because immediately you think that it's got a major fault. But with these, I think it's quite easy for them to pop out, so it's not the most, it's not the kind of most secure fitting of them. Let me see now if this is. It will. Jesus, it always makes me jump. Okay, always makes me jump. Anyway, that one there appears to be working. Let's move on to something else.
Electric paint sprayer.
So here we have what's called a portable spray gun, even though it's fed with mains. But it's still probably ideal for spraying your fences in the garden, which I actually did earlier in the summer on a paint gun that I fixed a little while ago. So with this one here, it's completely dead. I've got it plugged in here, turned on, and yet when I do this, it's not doing anything. But you can see that this has had zero use. So again, it's faulty from manufacturer. No part of this has been used before. So why has it failed? Let's bring it over to the mat, take it apart, and see if we can find out what's happening. Right, looking closely here, I can actually see some grey splats. So maybe it has had a tiny bit of use. Possibly. Right, let's take this off here. Yeah, I can see grey splats here now as well under the light. So yeah, it looks like it has had use. I'm going to take this off here because I presume this has got nothing to do with it because we can't hear any sound coming out. This here is the, I presume when you do this, it should create the sound. And then the rest of this here is to do the different airflow and stuff like that, because it needs to rush air through here and it will suck up the paint through here and then get shoved out. It kind of, you know, it creates a vacuum which sucks it out. Obviously, I'm unplugged. I'm going to start undoing the back here, just in case there's a brush issue. Like the brushes on the motor, maybe. They are very quick at doing your fences. Obviously, depending on how neat things are. But with me, what I did is I just put a blanket down, an old paint dust sheet type thing, underneath my fences so it wouldn't go on the concrete ones, because I've got kind of concrete, I don't know what you'd call them, coping stones. But it's so much quicker. In 2 evenings, I did, my garden's not really big, but in 2 evenings I did my garden. And it would have taken me, I would say, 4 or 5 times that time to do it with a brush. I still used a brush for the very edges next to the brick pillars because I didn't want to spray on the brick pillars. But for the middle bits, it's really quick. Right, that hasn't uncovered anything apart from a filter, so let's undo the rest of the screws. Right, that's all the screws out. Let's see, are you going to come apart? You are. Right, and we've got a felt foam pad at the bottom. Can I take that off? Yes, I did it without breaking it. Right, so we got a little micro switch here. Let's see, I mean, I could hear it working, the sound wise, but let's see, is it actually conducting? So continuity, so my meter will beep. Let's go between here and here and press the button. So we know that is okay there. Let's check from the neutral here all the way up to here. So if we were to go this side, when I press the button, you can see it's going through there. Right, and the live goes through here, up into here somewhere. Oh, look at that. That looks like it's a bit... Oh, that doesn't look good, does it? That looks like there's been a bit of a fire, don't you think? Oh, it sounds graty. Don't think this is going to be fixable, and this is glued, I think. Is this? Oh, hold on. Aha. How do I feed those through? Are you going to feed through? It's very, very blackened. I think I'm going to have to put some gloves on. My hands are dirty now anyway. So, one of the neutrals should go to here when we press this button. And the live should go to, sorry, not one of the neutrals. The neutral should go to one of these when the button's pressed. So let's see if I can do this in one hand. Button pressed, neutral. There. Not there. So that means the live should go to here. It is. So what's happening there? Oh, brushes have got, there's no brushes in here. What? There's no there's no brushes. Have a look. There's no brushes in here, that's why it's not working. How bizarre. Okay. So in here should be a brush, and in here should be a brush going down and touching the middle bit. Can you see there? It's not touching, you can see right the way through it. There's no brush there, and there's just a spring here. So for some reason, it looks like the brushes have just disintegrated. I mean, look at all this dust. What is going on? So that's the reason the motor's not turning. So you can see by my hands. Can you take these out? Oh, here we go. We need to press in here. Can you see here? Let's press there. There we go. Are you going to come out, or is that going to break the wire? Do I have to undo everything? Let's try this one. I wonder if I cut the straps, is it going to free it up? I've got no choice. So you are going into there. Has that freed up this a bit? I mean, look at it all. And wow, look at it. Look, it's just all down here. I don't understand how the brushes have just disintegrated. There we go, I'm out. I have zero idea what's going on here. I'm going to have to leave this up to the comment section because I don't know what would cause. You can see the remains of it there. What would cause the brushes to just disappear like that? Just going to wash my hands, put some gloves on. So the only way those brushes would have worn down, as far as I can see, is by leaving it on for ages. And by leaving it on for ages, the motor would have to be spinning to wear the brushes down. And I'm just amazed that somebody would leave this on the floor. I can't see a scenario where this would happen. I know people are going to say, of course it can happen, Vince, when it gets used. I understand that, but look at this thing. Although it's not brand new, it's had very, very, very little use. I use mine to paint the garden, and it is a mess already. So unless somebody was meticulous cleaning it up, I can't see how this has had any more than minutes of use. So I can't see the scenario where the brushes were worn down while this is that clean. It's a really confusing one for me. Anyway, let me see what brushes I've got, see if we can do something to get this working again. Oh, looky, looky, looky what we have here. I completely forgot I bought this. So, I bought those ones to maybe try to repair my power tool after the very helpful comments that came in. I also bought those because I thought they might be quite nice for something along the way. Also got them, which I think are the same. But look what I have here. Look at all this. I forgot I had this. So let me see if any of those fit in here. So they need to be quite small. And I presume I have to do the wire onto that end bit there. See, that there's a bit big. And they look like the smallest ones I've got. So do I need that wire on there? Can I not just solder that onto there? Or is that not, the spring's not big enough, is it? No, I've got to elongate the spring anyway. So there's quite a lot going on here. You have to have a spring that's long. It's all different types. These have little spade connectors on. So I need, yeah, look at the length of that spring there. It's much longer. So I'm going to have to elongate this spring. But then I can't because the wire's not big enough. That wire's a lot bigger. So I am going to have to take this end bit off and extend the wire, I think. As well as that, I need to widen this up a bit. None of this is perfect. I should be just getting the correct ones. But as long as it fits in here, which I think it will do. No, it's not going to, is it? That's quite a snug fit in here. Nothing's ever easy. When you don't have the spares, I should say. It's going to go up there, that's going to go there. So they do sit very close. Yeah, okay, I am going to have to, because there's no way this spring's going to... I say that. Why is it moving so easy now? 1 second, let me push this up here so that can lock into place again. Let's push that in here as if it's going to be a permanent job. Right, that's locked in there. How freely does this move? It moves, but I don't think that would overcome the spring. I think we're going to have to try to file down. Yeah, that's not going to work. We're going to have to file down this, but only on that bit there. It's not ideal. It should be square as well. It should be fatter, but it's not. What I'd want is, I'd want that. I'm going to be filing all day here. Really, I'd want that. Right, I've got a little flat file here. I think that will do the job. And I think I'm going to do it from each side. Actually, it's coming off really easy. Oh my. Yeah, I think this is going to be fine. Look at that. It's completely moving freely in there now. That's all I need. Look. So if I was to put that in there, I think, let's have a look. That's going to be there. How much spring have we got? To there. You know what? We've got about this much. We've definitely got half the brush. I wonder, would that do? Look how far it comes over. Yeah. So that's the edge here, and it's going to go all the way to there more because the spring's not going to be bent. I think I might just leave it at that rather than messing with this one. What I don't know is how much are they designed to go to? I presume they're not designed to go all the way to the spring because then it might cause horrible sparking and mess this bit up here. So because this is going to be a lot softer than the spring, but I don't think the spring will damage that. But I presume they're probably designed to go to here anyway, and I think this nearly will go to there. So I think I'm going to leave it. So I'm going to wrap this one around here and try to make a nice big soldered mess. I'm going to put it on there, and that's attached to there. Right, I think that will do. There we go, get it started, flood it with solder. Will that not do? And I'm going to go down the side here. There. The end of the metal here is already soldered to the wire from manufacture, and then I've just done that there like so. So now when I push this in here, it's going to go all the way along. Like so. So you can see now it's against it's there, and I've got all this to play with. So we need to squish that down and fold that over. Like so. And I think I'm going to put solder on here as well, just to kind of all close up the gap. Right, so that's there. I'm such an idiot, because this was the one I needed to put. I needed to put that on the other side. It doesn't matter, I'll just have to undo this one. So let's open up this, because I need to wrap that wire around there. And I think I'm going to solder it as well. Right, so that's wrapped around there. So let me leave some slack here and wrap this round. Right, to begin with, I don't know how enamelled that wire is at the end here. I know it's been, obviously it was on there before, but I'm just going to melt the end of it off to make sure it makes a good contact. Right, and now I'm going to keep it heated and try to fold it over. Now. Right, that's all wet, molten I should say. Squeeze it down. There we go. Okay, well, I think that looks okay, and you can see now that I'm in the same position here as I was before. In fact, I can pull that out a tiny little bit there. Yeah, that's there. But whether it's there or there, it's still making contact. I'm going to zoom right the way in. And you can see that the brush now, the carbon brush, is making contact. So have a look there, whether I do the brass in or out, can you see the brush isn't moving? So that's definitely going to be making contact in there because of the spring. So I'm going to put it all the way out to there. And yeah, that's soldered on there. So we should now have continuity between, well, we should have continuity all the way in here, shouldn't we, through the carbon. So let's try that. Let's go on to, I don't know which one it is, let's go on to this one here, which is live. Is it this one? No. Let's go to neutral. Right, so that's neutral, and now, can you hear we're actually onto the middle part of the motor? I don't know if you can see that. So now we've got to do the same on this side here. So I'm going to rinse and repeat on the other side. I've got to sand it down, file it down just like before, and then we'll get it in here. Hopefully that will be good. So this is this one here. Let's put this one back together with the little cable ties. So that's it, that all went pretty smoothly. Yes, it would be better if the carbon brush was completely square and took up the whole copper box, but it takes up about 2/3 of it at least. So it should, although it's going to wear down quicker, it should be okay. So I cable tie up the enamelled wire and then I rinse and repeat on the other side. Let's pick up the video again after both brushes have been done. Right, so there we have it. You can see that that's done there now. That's nice, and that's nice. In fact, the one I just did went much better and easier because I wasn't filming. If I was filming, it would have been awful. That's always the way it goes. And it does appear to be turning. So it's turning nicer this way than this way, because you can hear it clicking, but that will soon wear into position anyway. I presume that's the brushes making a noise, but it felt a bit crunchy beforehand anyway, so I don't know. But I can see the brushes are down on both of them now. Now, if we were to do the plug thing again, we should have it now on both sides. So as long as the motor's intact, I think this is going to work. So if I hold this here, in fact, if I hold it down, I should see a near enough short, should I not? Because now we're on the motor. So if I go between the plug here, when I press the button, we should be able to see the motor. Ready? There we go. So 20 ohms, I presume that is the commutator armature. Still keep getting it wrong. All right, I'm going to give this a little bit of a clean up with a wet wipe, and just to get rid of some of this old carbon, because I've got a stack of it in here. So I give it all a nice good clean up, and I put it back together. I put it back together fully because it's going to be safer to test, and why wouldn't it work? We know the wires are okay, we know the switch is okay, and now it's got 2 new carbon brushes. So there's nothing else for me to do inside. Let's test it. Right, there we go. We are back together. So I should be able to just do it like this, and air should come flying out because there's no sensor or anything here. Be brave, Vince. Hopefully it won't go up in flames. I'm going to plug it in now. I hope I don't burn myself. I hope a flame doesn't come flying out. Ready? Come on. I'm so nervous. Yes. See me shake there. Oh. It's I can actually smell burning. I can smell carbon coming out. So I think I'm going to have to leave that on a little bit longer to get that smell away while it kind of beds itself in, I presume. Hope it doesn't go up in flames now. Hold on. Oh, I don't believe it. You're gone.
Ha ha.
You're gone. What? I've seen a bit of smoke come out. Has it just tripped this? Oh no! Well, it worked for a few seconds. I thought that was going to be a proper fix. Why has it stopped working? Why have you stopped working? A bit of smoke came out, and I can see that there's all carbon over here. So it threw quite a bit of carbon out. There was no safety cut-off thing, was there? Well, let's see if we have ohms now. I've definitely got a load of carbon all over where I was blowing. So it's, surely it wouldn't have just eaten up the carbon brushes again. Surely not. Unless the commutator thing or armature, you know, the middle metal thing is so rough. Manufactured rough because it's a fault, and it's just eaten up the carbon brushes. That might be why it's failed. Ah, okay. Let's see now. They're gone. Do you know what? I bet when we open it up, I bet you any money that those cards, because I'm looking around now and I have got, watch this. Let's get a clean part off here. Just going to put a bit of spit on it. So that's clean. I'm going on my desk over here and look at that. I seen it puff out, and I thought it was just because I hadn't done a good enough job cleaning. But I'm thinking now that the carbon brushes are going to be completely eaten through again. In which case then it's a problem with the motor. This one here has completely gone. Wow. So if you have a look, I've still got, I wonder, can I see the spring anywhere? I'll tell you what I'll do, let's take out this one and then it'll be easier to show you. This one here has completely gone. Right, look at this. I'm going to have to cut this again, aren't I? Oh well, this is no good, so I'm going to be just cutting this here now. Look. Look at this here. Look how much is left. There. That there earlier was, well, let me show you how much earlier it was. If you have a look here, that's how big it was. So just by having it on for a few seconds, look how much we've gone through. So clearly, I think what's happened here is the fact that the gun looks so new. Is it possible that it was made with a faulty middle bit here. Shall we have a close look to see? Or do you think that, no, see, that was too far away. You know, it's not allowed to touch the middle bit that's spinning, this metal thing here. Right, look. Right, so why is this so rough? Is one of them much higher than all the others? As in a manufacturing defect? I've never seen that before. So I find that interesting. I'm going to take a guess, I can't see, I'm going to take a guess that one of these is higher than the others. And I think that's just wearing it down. It's like cutting into it. Mind you, I can't see it sticking up here. I can see a bit of light there. Right, I'm going to have to leave it up to the comment section. Yes, I could have used a brush that was ever so slightly thicker, a more square one. But I don't think it should have worn down that quick. I mean, it's not exactly as if I had it on for 20 minutes. I pressed it a few, for a couple of seconds again, and maybe another couple of seconds, and it went dead. And it wore through half the brush. After editing the video back, I've changed what I think is the diagnosis of what went wrong here. So initially I thought it was the commutator on the motor that was slightly rough, or maybe a raised bit, and it was acting as sandpaper, or if it was a raised bit, it was acting like an electric planer, you know, when you're planing down a bit of wood, and it was chipping bits off the carbon brush off. But I don't think so. I think it probably was working originally when it went to the customer. For whatever reason, it's been left on until the brushes wore down. And then I seem to remember when I took it apart to begin with, one of the brushes was completely gone and the spring looked like it was a bit damaged.
Here you go. This is before Vince took apart the motor.
So this is part of the video. There's no brush here at all. This is empty, but you can clearly see there's a spring coming down, touching the commutator. There's no brush left there, and I think that spring, because it's so hard, has caused damage to this copper here, because copper is actually very soft. I think when this was still spinning at speed and this broke off, then that there has ended up damaging this copper commutator. I think the spring was pushed against the commutator and that caused damage to it, roughing it up, because normally the commutator should be smooth and the brushes would be against that. But if the spring went against it, the spring is going to be much stronger and rougher and harder than the brushes, and it's going to cause damage to the commutator. So I think the only way you could get this working is not only get better brushes that are thicker, but I think you would need to take the motor apart completely, and I think you would need to file down the commutator to make it completely smooth. So you'd probably have to file it to begin with. So I've seen a video where somebody had it in a drill, and then they were pressing the drill and holding the file. I'm not sure if it was a file or sandpaper, but you need to make it smooth again. So maybe file to begin with, and then different grades of sandpaper, wet and dry, to get it super smooth. When it's super smooth, you could possibly fix this. Is it worth fixing this particular one? I think I've actually got others in the palette, so I might be able to use maybe the casing or something. Another one might have a cracked casing or broken one of these, in which case this might go on to help another one. I don't personally think it's worth fixing this. I don't even know how easy it is to take apart those motors, but I think that's what's happened here. I think it probably did leave the factory working, but the spring damaged the commutator, and from that moment on now, it doesn't matter how many brushes I'm going to put in it, they're going to wear down straight away. But again, if I'm incorrect, please put it down into the comment section below, because that's how we all learn.
Summary?
My mate Vince wasn't so successful today, only £13. So the bug zapper is £26 and it's brand new, so 50% of retail. I put down as 13, and unfortunately with the paint sprayer it's a big fat 0. So let's see if day 6 will be more successful. Fingers crossed it will.